The power of definiteness. Decide once, win forever. There comes a moment in every life when the noise must be silenced. Not the noise of the world, but the noise within. The doubts. The second guessing. The endless weighing of options. The quiet fear disguised as being realistic. The mind that says, maybe later. Maybe when I'm ready. Maybe when it's safer. And in that moment, you stand at a crossroads invisible to everyone but you. One path is crowded. It is safe. It is approved. It is lined with people who chose comfort over calling. And the other path is narrow. It is uncertain. It demands something terrifyingly simple and brutally rare. A definite decision. Not a wish. Not a preference. Not a vague intention. A decision. Napoleon Hill called it definiteness of purpose, the unwavering commitment to a single aim. He studied titans of industry and influence, men like Thomas Edison, Andrew Carnegie, and Henry Ford, and he discovered something most people overlook. They did not drift into greatness. They decided. Edison did not hope the light bulb would work. He decided it would. After thousands of failed attempts, when lesser minds would have surrendered to embarrassment and exhaustion, he remained definite. Every failure was not a verdict, it was data. The world saw trial and error. He saw inevitability unfolding. Carnegie did not stumble into steel dominance. He made a definite choice to master an industry and bent every thought, every alliance, every risk toward that single aim. Ford did not casually experiment with automobiles. He decided that the common man would own a car, and he aligned his entire existence to that reality long before the world believed it possible. Definiteness is power because it eliminates internal conflict. Most people are not exhausted because they work too hard. They are exhausted because they are divided, half committed, half believing, half acting. One foot in the dream, one foot in retreat. They wake up inspired and go to bed uncertain. They start, then stop. They want, but they hesitate. Indecision is the thief of energy. When you decide once, truly decide, you remove the argument within yourself. The mind stops negotiating. The spirit stops wavering. Your actions gain force because they are no longer diluted by doubt. The sun's rays scattered across a field are warm, but concentrated through a lens, they ignite fire. Your mind works the same way. Scattered, it produces comfort. Focused, it produces transformation. Definiteness begins with belief, but not blind belief. It is belief chosen in advance of evidence. It is the internal declaration that says, this is who I am. This is where I am going. And no temporary condition will redefine me. Abraham Lincoln lost elections, failed in business, faced ridicule, and endured personal tragedy. Yet he never abandoned his internal decision to lead and to stand for unity. Circumstances tested him. They did not define him. The decision came first. The proof came later. The world does not reward interest. It rewards commitment. Interest says, I'll try. Commitment says, I will. Interest negotiates with difficulty. Commitment absorbs it. Interest waits for motivation. Commitment creates it. When you become definite, something shifts in the unseen architecture of your life. Your brain begins filtering the world differently. Opportunities that were once invisible become obvious. People who align with your aim appear. Resources you once overlooked gain significance. It is not magic, it is focus. The law of attraction is not a mystical chant whispered into the universe. It is the natural consequence of a directed mind. When your aim is clear, your subconscious goes to work. It searches, it connects, it solves. It pushes you to act in alignment with your decision. And the world responds, not because it owes you, but because clarity commands cooperation. But definiteness demands sacrifice. You cannot be definite and universally approved. You cannot pursue one direction and keep every option open. To decide is to eliminate alternatives. To commit is to burn the bridge behind you. That is why so few do it. They want the dream without the closure. They want the reward without the risk of being wrong. They want certainty before commitment, not realizing that certainty is born from commitment. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. He was fired. His early ventures failed, but he made a decision about the world he would create. Not a small one, a world of wonder, a kingdom of story. He held that vision when it was invisible to everyone else. The decision was stronger than the doubt. Clarity is not found, it is forged. You do not wake up one morning magically certain of your purpose. You confront yourself. You ask the hard questions. You strip away the expectations of others. You examine what ignites you, what angers you, what pulls you forward even when it scares you, and then you choose. Not because it is easy, but because it is yours. Once chosen, discipline becomes natural. Discipline is not punishment. It is alignment. When your purpose is definite, waking early is not torture. Learning is not a burden. Practice is not optional. You are no longer forcing yourself. You are fulfilling yourself. A scattered mind needs motivation. A definite mind needs only a reminder, and reminders are everywhere when you know what you are looking for. The obstacle becomes a teacher. The delay becomes preparation. The criticism becomes refinement. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You begin asking, how is this shaping me? That question alone transforms suffering into strategy. Resilience is not built by avoiding storms. It is built by standing in them without surrendering your decision. Every test strengthens identity. Every setback clarifies commitment. Every moment of doubt is an invitation to recommit. You do not win because life becomes easy. You win because your decision becomes unbreakable. There will be nights when results are invisible, when progress feels microscopic, when the world appears unchanged despite your effort. In those moments, the weak retreat to comfort. The definite return to their declaration. I decided. That sentence is armor, because once you decide who you are becoming, temporary failure cannot humiliate you. It cannot label you. It cannot intimidate you. It becomes a step, not a sentence. Gratitude fuels definiteness. Not passive gratitude, but strategic gratitude. Gratitude for the chance to struggle. Gratitude for the mind capable of vision. Gratitude for the lessons disguised as losses. When you are grateful, you eliminate bitterness, and bitterness is poison to purpose. Adaptability strengthens definiteness. Being definite does not mean rigid. It means anchored. The method may change. The strategy may evolve. The timing may adjust. But the aim remains fixed. Like a ship correcting course in wind and wave, you adapt without abandoning destination. Learning becomes a lifelong ally. The definite individual is never finished. They study, they refine, they seek counsel. They examine their own thinking. Pride does not block progress because the goal is greater than ego. They understand that growth is not optional, it is oxygen. And over time, something extraordinary happens. The person who once hesitated begins to move with quiet authority. The voice that once trembled speaks with conviction. The dream that once felt distant becomes tangible. Not because the world changed, because you did. The power of definiteness is not in loud declarations or public announcements. It is in private resolve. It is the silent moment when you look at your reflection and say, from this day forward, I am no longer undecided. And you mean it. You do not redecide every week. You do not renegotiate with fear. You do not consult doubt for permission. You decided once, and that decision echoes through every action, every habit, every choice. Win once in the mind and the world becomes a field of execution. The tragedy of most lives is not lack of talent. It is lack of definiteness. Brilliant minds scattered, powerful spirits diluted, dreams postponed into oblivion. But when you decide, truly decide, you step into a different current of existence. Energy aligns, focus sharpens, courage expands. You stop asking, what if I fail? And start declaring, watch me build. The world belongs to the definite, not the loudest. Not the luckiest, not the most connected, the most decided. So stand at that invisible crossroads again. Feel the weight of your hesitation. Acknowledge the comfort of delay. And then choose. Choose the narrow road. Choose the disciplined path. Choose the vision that demands growth. Because once you decide who you are and where you are going, you remove the greatest obstacle you will ever face, the uncertainty within. And when the internal war ends, the external battle is already half won. Decide once, win forever.